Good afternoon and welcome. You know, they say when in Europe, you go bonjour. When in Africa, you go, I'm so sorry starting late. So I just want to say thank you for your patience. High five the person next to you and say, you look incredible. You look incredible. All right. So the thing with Damian is that he's really, 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 really patient. And so I'm going to ask you to do the following. I'm going to stop just before we start that we clap to welcome yourselves and we clap to welcome him. But before we do that, let me tell you a little about this man. He's all about mindfulness and how we eat and making sure that we eat that it's healthy for our bodies. One of the things being plant-based, you can come join us over here, not a problem. So you have a friend who's joining. She's part of the media team. Wonderful. And there we go. And what's really incredible about how we're going to do the food today, it's all about being conscious around what you put together and how things are put together. So as Damian's walking around, please make sure you find him on Damian Jardim on social media, because he said, my following's not that big yet. And I said, well, the only way it's going to get bigger is if you follow him. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for yourselves and to welcome Damian. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There we go. welcome everybody. Sorry for starting late. I'm handing out little bowls for you to put your little ramen in at the end. There we go. Perfect. So I was going to do a little bit of mindfulness in the beginning, and I thought I'd just talk everyone through it. So personally, I like to step into the kitchen barefoot, a way of just being grounded and really being present in the moment of cooking. I really believe we come from a day where we're so busy, so distracted, and just the mind is everywhere that we rush our cooking process, and that's the space of self-nourishment. So it's a matter of slowing down and really becoming present in what we're doing and what we're putting into our bodies, and just being completely present. And one way that I enjoy doing that is really tapping into my body, whether it be movement, whether it be just breathing, whether it just be standing still, grounding, rubbing my hands, just feeling the energy, feeling I'm connected. I'm here to be present in the cooking moment, and just take it one step at a time from there, and really remove all distractions and then be present in the moment that we are currently busy with. With that being said, I'm going to fast forward past all of that due to time, but it is a practice that I do encourage everyone to do at home before stepping into the kitchen, when feeding your family, when feeding anybody, is really just removing your distractions, removing all energy that isn't necessary in there, and then cook from a space of love and presence. You'll see in front of you, you've got a little ramekin, a red ramekin, and that will be your topping, so that can just be put to the side. One ramekin is for 2 people. So the toppings will be split amongst 2 people. You then got a little ramekin with mushrooms. You'll then have a little ramekin with garlic, crushed garlic. That can be placed close to the mushrooms. They'll be used together. You then have a little spice rub, which can be placed close to your tofu that's in a bowl. Those 2 will be marinated together. And then you've got a little bowl with rosemary, basil, fennel seeds, and that's all your infusion spices for your broth. And then you've got a cup of broth. So there is only 1 cup of broth there, but I'm going to ask that everyone can just come up, and then we can fill up from this pot over here when we're going. Cool, so we're going to get started. I think we're going to all, on the station, just 2 people do 1 pot, do everything in 1 pot, and then we'll split the broth into portions at the end. Cool, so to start, we're going to put our cup of broth into the pots, either the Le Creuset pot, either this Le Creuset pot or the metal pot. So we're going to pour the broth in there with our spices. With the infusion ones, so the little white ramekin.
I love to see how the teamwork happens. You're like, no, that's mine. No, I'm doing it.
Perfect. And then I'm going to come around with the pot just to top it up, because that's not going to be enough for everybody. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. Perfect. And we are 3 on the station, right?
Thank you.
Okay, cool, perfect. I'm just going to ask you to hold the cup over the pot.
There's sous chefs here.
There we go.
There's sous chefs in this special section. Also known as his mom's supporters.
Perfect.
Your
There we
best
go.
friend, you know, all the above. The
Righty,
doctor,
we're
the
just gonna do another
psychologist,
cup of
psychiatrist.
broth.
Isn't that what moms do? Yes, the healer, the prayer warrior, the everything. Like that's it. There we go.
Pleasure, pleasure. 3.
So can I ask, by show of hands, for whom is it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first masterclass they're doing ever in their lives?
Perfect.
No? Okay, cool. And who
Sorry, I'm just
normally
going to
cooks at
squeeze in
home?
behind you. Sorry.
4 people, 5 people. Okay, cool. And the rest of you
Pleasure,
pour the
pleasure.
wine. Yes. Oh, you do both? Okay, you got it. Like it. Okay, fantastic.
So as I'm pouring the broth, I also just wanted to explain with regards to making the broth. You'll see on the recipe card, yeah, you can pour that into the pot. On the recipe card, there is a recipe for the broth. It's pretty straightforward. You literally just put all your ingredients into a pressure cooker with the water, place the lid on the water, on the pressure cooker, and then let it go for 45 minutes. What is nice about this recipe is it makes a very big batch of broth. So that broth can then be kept for anything, whether it be soups, whether it be flavoring your other dishes as you go along. Yes, because you are 2. So we'll do that. So, and you can freeze it. So once your broth is made, you can decide to make the broth bowl again. Siora, ons gooi hom. There we go. Cool. So we're gonna. So yeah, you can then use that stock, can be stored in the freezer, kept for other purpose, other dishes that you make, whether it be a soup, whether it be flavoring something, whether it be stewing anything. You then have that stock that you can use for multiple things. Then you can just use a normal big pot. You're then going to put it on a stove, and it's just going to take a lot longer. So it'll take about an hour instead of 45 minutes. And you don't want it to boil rapidly. You want it to simmer very slightly, because if it boils rapidly, then you get a cloudy broth. So if you have it at a low simmer, you get a nice clear broth, which is quite nice. So while we're waiting, while we go on and get the rest ready, we're going to get the broth infusing. So you can go ahead and get the stove on, put your induction on, and it must just be at a low simmer. It mustn't boil, and then lid on, because we don't want the stock to evaporate. There we go. Cool, then we're going to take the tofu. So now, while the broth's going, we're basically going to get the toppings ready. For the tofu, you're going to take your tofu, simply take some of the olive oil. You'll see there's olive oil on the station, just share. Go along. And we're then going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil over it. And then you'll see you'll have a little spice mix over here in a little, it's like a reddish color, little spice mix. Perfect. I see the bok choy is in the tofu. You can just pop that in your little cup for now if it is in the way. If it's got some oil on, it's not a problem at all. We'll go with it. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah, then we're going to season the tofu with the little red chipotle seasoning. And then you'll see there's spatulas on the side. You can mix it with the spatula, or you can just give it a shake in the bowl. That'll be good. How many pots do we have on the stove? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think we can make this work. Okay, I'm gonna come grab everybody's pots just so that we can fry on the inductions, and then I'm gonna let the pots infuse on the gas over here. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, well, was that the last one? Okay, I'm just trying to figure out why this one's not working. Does anybody have a light on them? Oh, wait, no, it's fine. Just hang on. I got it. There we go. We got it. Perfect. Cool. The pan can stay. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks. No, all good. Thank you. Cool. So now that we have that all marinated and ready to go, we're just basically going to start the toppings off. So then we're just going to fry the toppings, get them ready. Ideally, what we're going to do is get the toppings ready, keep them aside, then place the toppings in our bowls that I gave you, and then have a hot broth, and then the hot broth goes over that. And then you've got two choices in cooking the pasta. You can either cook it in the broth, which I like to do personally, because then the pasta takes on the flavor of the broth, or you can cook it separately in water and then just add it to the broth. So to fry the mushrooms, we're gonna heat the pan up. So you can put your cast iron pan onto the Snappy Chef. And then we're gonna drizzle a little bit of oil. So the trick with a trick that I learned in culinary school was usually you want the pan to heat up. That way you're using less oil. So you need less oil on a hot pan than what you would on a cold pan. Another thing that I wanted to touch on in terms of the reason why I practice the mindfulness as well is it really gets you into a space where you're in tune with what your body wants. So yes, you can follow a recipe. The recipe can be everything, but we're all different. We're going to be making the same recipe now, but everybody's broth is probably going to taste completely different to the next person's. And from that space of mindfulness and really being embodied, you're able to actually step in and tune into what is it my body needs. Do I like more garlic? Do I want more garlic today? Don't I want more garlic too? So it's being able to not be overwhelmed by a recipe, but be able to adapt a recipe to what your body needs and listening to your body, and that way healing your body from that space of mind. Once our pan is hot, I'm just going to let it heat up a bit more. Ideally, you want a really hot pan so you get a nice caramelization on the onions, on the mushrooms. We're then going to add the mushrooms to the hot pan. If yours is smoking or just before smoking, please go for it. Add the mushrooms along. Yours will probably be faster than mine. Yeah, go. You can throw the mushrooms in as well. Perfect. So you want to caramelize the mushrooms till they get a bit brown, and then we add the garlic in later. We don't add the garlic in now because what happens with garlic is when it starts burning, it gets a very bitter flavor. And because we're putting this in a broth, the broth takes on the flavor of whatever you're adding to it in terms of toppings. So you don't want the broth to be bitter, therefore we wait right till the end, and then we add the garlic just to sweat it off, just to saute it so that it's cooked through. Perfect. All good, all good. Perfect. And then what you can do in the meantime is you can just split your noodles into split the packet in half. And then I'm sure instead of everyone opening, I think between two stations, let's share one packet. So the packet will be divided by 4. And then we can take it from there. Perfect. There we go. My pan's hot now. Perfect. I'm just going to come have a look around and see. Cool. If you would like, you could add the garlic to your salong, and then is it on its lowest temperature?
It's on one.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you could add the garlic to your salong. Can add the garlic to your salong. Perfect. Go for it. Add the garlic.
Should we drop the temperature?
Yeah, put it on 1. When adding the garlic, yeah, that's perfect. You don't want the garlic to burn. Go for it. You can add the garlic. Perfect. And then we're just slightly cooking the garlic, just to basically get it cooked so that you're not having that raw garlic flavor, but you also don't want it to start caramelizing because that's when you get the bitter flavor from the garlic. Once that is done, once your mushrooms and garlics are cooked, you can then split the mushrooms into the bowls, into your finished bowls, and then that will be the first topping done and ready to go. Yeah, they're still good. I have to check them. Oh, still perfect. Yeah. This one, which one is cooking quite a bit? Hair? Paper towel. We don't have paper towel. Alrighty, once you've split your noodles, I'm going to invite you forward just to come find your pot and then pop your noodles in your pots along and they'll cook that. They're very fast. They take about 5-10 minutes, which shouldn't too long. Which one is yours? This one. Okay, perfect. Pop them in. All good, all good. Do you want something? Is it a bit hot? Perfect.
Going in.
Cool, cool, cool. I'll give it a whisk there from this side. Oh, sorry. Which one is yours? Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Perfect. There we go.
Give it a shoosh.
Yes, yes, I'll do that. Perfect. I'm just gonna bring yours up a bit. Okay, I'm just gonna switch it over. We have that's really hot here. No, it's not. Okay, cool. Would you swap that pot over for me? Sure. This one. Sorry. Perfect. There we go. Cool. Yeah, that should be good. Cool. And then while your pans, you can get your pans hot again, and we're going to fry the tofu in the same pan. So with the tofu, simply get the pan hot, put a little bit of oil. If it's still got enough oil and you don't want to add more oil, you don't have to. Listen to your body. What is your body feeling like? Does it want more? Does it not? And then once the pan is hot with oil, then you're going to add your tofu into that. You're then going to fry your tofu until it's caramelized. So it's going to get slightly brown in color. Show you now. Perfect. With regards to the tofu, you want a high heat so that it actually caramelizes. And it's a quick fry. If you fry it for too long, it gets this rubbery texture, so you're just literally frying it to get a bit of color. Is everyone still good? Following along? Focused? Cool. Awesome. Okay, what you can also do in the meantime is the little topping, this little bad boy. You'll see there's all the rest of the toppings in there, so you can just halve it amongst the two bowls. So put a lemon, and you can just start placing it in your bowl. Then what we're going to do is add the noodles, and then we'll throw the broth over that, and that will heat everything on, and then this will infuse the broth further. Oh. Perfect. Cool, so once the tofu has caramelized, is that all good? Next time you can put a little bit less oil, but that's all good. But yeah, I would take it out and then split it amongst the two bowls. Yeah, perfect. Cool, you can go a bit further. Your guys' is perfect. If you want, you can split it. You guys still good? Perfect, cool. So that was so it's not the spice rub that's in the recipe. That's a Cajun spice rub, but you can marinate it however you want. So ideally, you can even go more Asian. You can add soy sauce to it. You can add tahini to it. You can add everything. You can do all of that. So I've just taken, this is ideally a more Asian flavored broth bowl, but I've just put in a Mediterranean twist on it with the olives. Guys, cool. You guys, perfect. No, yeah, it's good to go. Yeah, it's crispy. Tofu is already cooked. So you just want to get a crisp on it, and you don't want it to go too long, otherwise it goes rubbery. You guys can up the heat on it, and you can put a little bit more oil, and then it should be good. Yeah, perfect. Woo! I'm just going to drop this bad boy. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. Cool. Once your tofu's off, I'm going to invite you guys to bring the skillets to the front, and you can just pop it in the basin over here. Yeah, and then you can come grab your pot. It might be hot, so if you need a hand, just shout. I'll carry it through to you. And then you can place your pot on the station. Which one's yours? Silver one, this one. Perfect, yeah. No, it's all good. Perfect. Oh yeah, light blue one. Okay, this one is quite hot. I'll bring it through for you. Perfect. There we go. Once I've given you your pot, check your noodles. Try some, see how far it is, if it's ready for you, if it's not. Perfect, not a problem. And then, if your noodles are almost done, add your pak choy to the pot. so it can steam slightly. Do you need a hand there? Got you. Cool. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. I think your guys' noodles might be ready. But just have a check, and if it's ready, you add the pak choy to that just so it steams a bit. When you add the pak choy to the noodles, it's literally a quick steam, so it's about 2 minutes, and then it goes into the, you can just pop it in, lid on, and then it's no, keep it whole. If you want, you can break it apart at home, however you want. If you prefer to eat it smaller, chopped up, you can do that. I think that's a big thing that I like about my recipes, and is everyone adapted to your preferences, and find a way that works for you. If you like your things more chopped up, chop it up. If you like it whole, keep it whole. It's really listening to what your body wants and what you enjoy. Perfect. Did that chef go? I was going to ask her for tongs, but... Cool. So if your noodles are ready, you can switch it off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take it out, the broth. They're just quickly getting us some tongs. And then we're going to put the tongs, tong the noodles into the bowl. And then after that, you will broth the bowl. Just hang on, let me just give a hand there. Okay. Are you guys good? Yeah. Cool. Perfect. Cool. So once you guys are ready, they're just quickly going to get us tongs, and then then that's basically what we're going to do. We're then going to tong the noodles out into the bowls. The broth is then we can then bring the broth up for a boil just to make sure it's really, really hot. And then you're going to pour the broth over the bowl, split it amongst the two bowls. Then I'll bring you guys some lids and some cutlery. And then when you eat it, squeeze a bit of lemon onto it and enjoy it. And then I think it's going to be amazing, hearty winter meal that you can take home and just really healing. The stock itself has a lot of healing properties. It's got a lot of veggies. It's got sweet potato. It's got tomato, more than what your usual veggie stock does have. So therefore really containing all the vitamins and all the minerals that you need concentrated in a liquid form. Really good thing for the winter coming up. They're bringing tongs now. So if your thing is ready, just switch it off so that it doesn't cook further. If you want, if you are willing to, go for the fork and you can fork. Oh, here we go. So I'm just going to ask you guys to share it amongst each other. There's unfortunately only two. There we go. And then there is also the option, obviously, when you're doing it at home, if you don't like the herbs and spices in your broth, you can strain your broth first, and then so that you don't get the seeds and the aromatics in there. I personally enjoy it, but obviously up to everybody, each to their own toast. Cool. Cool. I'll plate one up, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. Not a problem. And then there were some ladles on the station. But then I'll pass around some ladles if you want, or if you're brave enough and you have a pot that can just pour quite easily, then go for it. You guys good? Perfect. Do you need some tongs, or you good? There's some tongs for you? You're managing? Sure. Okay. Would you guys like some tongs? Tongs? Asseblief, jong. Help a bikkie. Hier's bikkie, hier's 'n ladle vir julle. All good? Ladle. Here's a ladle, because I know your pot is quite hot. Yes, I will. Here we go. Pleasure. Perfect. And if you need a lid, and then there's little grinders on 3 stations, so you can just pass it around. It's these ones over here, and then you can just season your broth with that as well. This is a black radish salt. I originally in the recipe mentioned olive salt. Yes, you could. And then you can definitely do that. Season it up, have a little squeeze of lemon, and enjoy.
I have to tell you
go.
that the flavors
Do you guys
smell
have enough?
incredible. You're all clearly are like
There we go.
exec chefs.
There we go. Well done, everybody. And thank you for coming. I put yours there on the thing. I'll bring some more lids now.
Who's excited to eat their meal? Yes,
There we
there
go.
we go.
I like it,
Fantastic.
I like it.
Deliciousness.
Here we go. Pleasure, pleasure.
And there's
There we
definitely
go.
something about making your own food
You
in this
see?
kind of public space while the rest of people are like drooling. And you think, oh, I'm just going to get to enjoy that a bit later. But smile,
Oh.
of course, and be caring and mindfulness and consciousness and all that, right?
All of it.
All of the above. Fantastic.
Alrighty. So that's the meal, guys. Thank you so much. And then, like I said, you can take it home, adapt it, change it up. If you want to marinate your tofu a bit differently with spices that you enjoy, play around with it. That's the whole point of it, is really listening to what excites you, what inspires you, and adapt the recipe to what will make you enjoy it even more.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
please put your round for yourself to say thank you, and thank you to Damian. Well done.
Thank you, guys.